Alright, so as you saw in the title, I lost to a cheater. This guy is rated 2025 during this game, and I was at 2196. It's frustrating because I didn't get they sometimes refund your rating points when you lose to a cheater, but that didn't happen this time. And I reported this guy too. I explained because he wasn't labeled a cheater when I played him and lost to him, and even for a week after I played him, he wasn't. They didn't see him as a cheater. I reported him in a pretty detailed report explaining why he was cheating. There were obvious red flags, but we'll start with the game. I played kind of poorly. I made some mistakes. Maybe if I had more time, I wouldn't have made such errors, but so here I should have just castled and made it easy on myself. Just give back the pawn on e5. The problem was I didn't think about it long enough. The problem with my plan, I was going to just give him g7 and try to play on his king with rook g8, but with his bishop coming to f7, I should have just realized I would never be able to make that plan happen. It's like a thorn in my side the whole game, and that was that. So that you see the plan is to just obviously get rook g7 or rook g8, line up on his g2 pawn, but it just didn't happen. So it's just my light squares are terrible. I'm not going to have any way to get these to here. I can't ever kick the bishop. It's just dreadful. Dreadful position. So he has some threats of see, my rooks are kind of this rook's kind of tied to the defense of this at some point. Not right now, quite yet, but he's going to eventually have some threats of taking here and then coming here if I have to take with my rook instead of my king, because his queen will be protecting it. So he played it really quick, and it was like he wasn't concerned about that. And I can't take here. This is what happens. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can take it, because he can just take my... He can just take my knight is with his rook because it's protected. So I just tried to keep it a little interesting and try to attack him, keep the position a little bit weird. Yeah, everything just fell short. And here I resigned. So, on first glance, I guess it kind of looks like, he didn't cheat and I just played poorly. Maybe I did play poorly, but I felt like he played some kind of strange things. You can usually tell when someone cheats by the way they play. I feel like the quickness of some of in tough spots, he found really interesting moves quickly, and he also he was also very his moves were a little different. It's hard to explain, but the engines just make different types of moves than humans. I'm not just talking about in strength. I just mean just different. So how I figured out how I assumed he was a cheater. I didn't make this video until the site officially labeled him a cheater. I would never accuse someone of cheating if they weren't cheating, because that's just mean. But how I figured it out, I looked at his profile because it just felt like a weird game. So the center pawn loss in this game from him was really low. He didn't have a ton of inaccuracies or mistakes. It was just really low, not to where I would say he's for sure cheating. And it was extraordinary low in a bunch of other classical and rapid games, longer games. He was beating really good opponents. He was beating opponents over 2,000, and his center pawn loss was just extremely low, 12 with 0 inaccuracies consistently. And then his bullet rating was 1,300. You just can't be this good classical and that bad at bullet. So it didn't add up, and I emailed them, or I sent it to the 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 site, and they determined he is a cheater. So no big deal. I didn't get my rating back, but so it was kind of interesting nonetheless. But it sucked that when I'm working towards the goal to deal with the cheater, there's still stuff to learn from that game. Besides, like, engines are tough to beat, and people who use the help of an engine are really tough to beat because they're always going to be accurate. But it was cool to learn about kind of just maybe I learned mostly to when you're up a pawn, you don't have to fight to keep it if it's going to end up messing with your position too much. And I should have realized that I would never really get any play against his queen when his bishop's going to be on f7. So overall, it's still a cool learning experience, and I'm still going to be working towards that top 200 leaderboard.